Allison, a warm welcome. Take it away, Allison.
Thank you. Good afternoon, everyone. Great to see everyone today. I'm going to first focus on what our topic of the day is. And this topic, I didn't need to think about it. It just came into my head. And when I feel that, I just said I'm going to go with it. And that is growth. And that term came to me for a few different reasons. I think the first reason it came into my head was just being out in nature. Everything is starting to bloom right now, grow, and really, we're really getting into spring. And that's kind of one of the words I always think about when I think about spring. Another thing for me is I'm actually at the end of this week entering a new decade and in my life. And I just think, just kind of thinking back when I moved here to Charlotte almost 10 years ago, just the growth that I have had in these 10 years. And so it's always a good time just to reflect on where we've been. And obviously, since we're all together on a Toastmasters focused on our growth in so many areas, whether it's public speaking, doing new things, exploring new topics, meeting new people, many areas that we can explore growth today. I'm going to start out by introducing all of the meeting roles. And when I call your roll and your name, if you can just let us know what you will be doing during our meeting today. I first am going to start with the grammarian, which I believe is Andy today. Do you want to, I think it's up here, right? Yeah, if you want to come on up and let us know. And we're supposed to clap it right there, is that, yeah?
Yes, clap your hands for Andy.
Good afternoon, everybody. Allison, thank you for the warm welcome. First time grammarian. So here we go. The word of the day. Well, as a grammarian, I will be watching diligently for any ums, ahs, so's, likes, and all that stuff. So watch your words carefully, my friends. The word of the day is going to be thrive, which means to grow or develop well or vigorously. So hopefully that'll be in alignment with today's topic. So thrive, thriving, any of those, I will be sure to give oodles of brownie points. Thank you, Madam Toastmaster.
Thank you so much. I'm going to now bring up our actually on our screen timer. So Valencia, I believe you're the timer for today.
I am. I will explain what the timer does. All of you know how important time is, and we need to know how important time is when we're speaking. Today we have two prepared speakers. I believe both speeches are 5 to 7 minutes. Is that right?
Yes, that's correct.
Thank you. So at 5 minutes, I will give you the green background. At 6 minutes, yellow background. At 7 minutes, red background with 30 seconds to wrap up. When we do our table topics today, we will speak for 1 to 2 minutes. And the thing that we want to keep in mind when we're doing table topics is to get in the green. When you see this, you've been speaking for 1 minute. Keep going. 1.5 minutes, you'll see this, 2 minutes with 30 seconds to wrap up with the red background. Thank you, Madam Toastmaster.
Thank you so much. The next was going to be our table topics master. It doesn't look like Dr. Alice Ann is on yet. Is that right? Okay. So hopefully she will be jumping on soon, and we'll be able, when we get to our table topics, for her to take over that part. The next role we're going to review is the general evaluator. I think, Debbie, that's for you today.
Thank you so much. As general evaluator, I will call on the timer. I'll call on the grammarian. I will call on the evaluators as well, and I'll call on them first to evaluate the speeches. Then after that, we do a kind of a brief summary of what went well in our meeting, what we might work on for our next meeting. And it's a time to conclude the meeting and also summarize and just coordinate the end of the meeting. So that is what I do as the general evaluator, and I'll take 2 to 3 minutes only to do that. Thank you.
And before I bring Carla up, just as we'll get her up here and keep her up here, we are missing one role for the evaluator for Ronki. Is there anyone online that would be available to be an evaluator today?
I can evaluate for Ronke.
Okay, great. Thanks, Jamil. We're going to bring up Carla. If you just want to, I love this, the joke master. When I was in a previous club, I have not seen this role before. So it's nice that we have this here.
Thank you very much. I appreciate it. Before I start, I want to verify, can you online see me head to toe or head to somewhere? You can see my hands moving and
Yep,
everything?
yep,
Okay.
yep.
So I remind everybody as we've embraced this new OWL technology that when you come up here to position yourself where it works, or we'll raise it up if you're too tall, if you can't position yourself, so that everybody can see you, because part of communication, we know 10% of communication is words and 35% or something is body language, or the rest is tone or emotions. I don't remember, I gave a speech on it, but I don't remember the exact ones. I want to say that I love this topic of growth. I thought about it as personal growth. And I thought about all the personal growth I've had in my life. I've had a wonderful family and I have wonderful friends and I have a wonderful job that I retired from and had a great career and a lot of travel, a lot of adventures, a lot of positive growth. I'm a good human being. I say I support the community. There are a lot of things that I do I didn't start out this way, but I've grown and gotten there. And I think all of you can relate to having positive growth in your life. So I'm not going to talk about that. Today, I'm going to talk about the things that stunted growth. And I tell you this because if I had only known then what I know now, I'm going to talk about 3 things briefly that stunted my growth. And I hope you will learn from them. If these are already yours, well, and you can relate to it, great. The first one is fear of failure. I cannot tell you how many things I started, did one time, didn't do it right, said, oh, this is not for me, and walked away. And along with that, there are things I never did just based out of fear that I was going to feel. I never even tried them. The second thing that I had that happened to me is that I lack of self-confidence. Some people are born with the self-confidence gene. I was not born with that gene. And I don't know if you can relate to that. For those of you who can, I really lack self-confidence. I didn't trust myself. I listened to other people. I lived a lot on what I should be doing. I just had that going on, and it prevented me from trying some new things and from growing. It really did stunt my growth because I didn't trust my gut and move forward and become more of my authentic self. The last thing is that negative internal chatter. I fight it all the time to have positive internal chatter. That chatter is just chatter. It is not who I am. It's not who I want to be. And I continue to grow. I want to thrive in my life. And those 3 things have, in spite of all the great successes I have and the joy I have and the adventures I have, those 3 things have gotten in my way. So, oops, take that so away. I was doing very well before. With that in mind, I want to leave you with a quote. This is from Abraham Maslow, who taught us about the hierarchies of needs, from the basic needs of food all the way up to self-actualization. And here's what he said. You can choose to go back towards safety, which I know I did a lot. You can choose to go back towards safety, growth, or you can go forward towards growth. So go back towards safety or forward towards growth. Growth must be addressed again and again and again. You have to keep on trying. And fear must be overcome. You have to look at the fear, you have to acknowledge it, you have to find where the source is, and then move forward. So the quote of the day to think about when this whole thing is over: one can choose to go back towards safety or forward towards growth. Growth must be chosen again and again. Fear must be overcome again and again. With that, I'll turn it back to you, Madam Toastmaster.
Thanks for that, Carla. We're going to start to get ready to go into our prepared speeches for today. I did just want to kind of throw out to Ronki. I'm not sure, it just didn't, maybe it just didn't print on our printouts. If you could put in the chat what for when it's your turn, the name of your speech, as well as the speech that you are working on, that would be really helpful. We're going to start out though with our first speaker today, John O'Connor. He is going to be doing his speech from the Pathways Effective Coaching, Intro to Vocal Variety and Body Language. The title of his speech today is Hamburg. Take it over, Don.
Thank you so much. Well, good afternoon, folks. I today will be telling you a story about an adventure I had quite some time ago and how I thrived during and afterwards and made it on out to the other side. It's a story about a trip I had in the year of 2009. So if some of you can remember, as a point of reference, we had a little bit of a financial crisis in 2008. So it was the year after that, okay, as a point of reference. So I'm going to take you to Hamburg, Germany in the summer of 2009, specifically July. So very warm, very, very beautiful old European city, tremendous architecture, just a beautiful, beautiful place. My brother, younger brother, still is, by the way, he was working over there. He's an engineer and he was working over there in Hamburg, Germany at the time. So a buddy of mine, Pete, and I decided that we would go visit him for a long weekend, see him, hang out with them, city we've never been to before. So we both thought about it that week and really came together really quick, really, really exciting to go over there and see him, see a new European city. So we go over there, had a great weekend. Everything's perfect. We're hanging out. There's German beer and bratwurst and museums and the big town square there in Hamburg and festival. And it was just an amazing time. And then all his work friends. So standard enough weekend as you can imagine. Now we get to Monday morning, beautiful, absolutely gorgeous day in Hamburg. Everyone's going to work, hustling, bustling. So Pete and I are heading back. My brother is remaining there. Obviously, he works there, so he's staying. So what we did was we planned out, or what we thought we planned out, our route back to get back home to Ireland. All right, so very straightforward. Flights booked. It's Aer Lingus. It's a return trip. Get to the airport, back to Dublin, back to work Tuesday morning. All is well. Text my brother, tell him we're safe. That's the plan. All right, so we leave, give my brother, shake his hand, give him a hug, tell him it was a great trip. We'll see him soon. Pete and I start off on our planned journey to Hamburg International Airport. We get on a train, we relax, our bags there, everything is going perfectly the way it should be. Then I start to get a nervous feeling in my stomach. My palms are sweaty. My heart starts to increase its rate. I start to get very nervous because I've started to notice that maybe there's a chance that Pete and I are not going in the right direction to the airport. Now, remember, I'm a very planned, organized person by nature, so I had planned out this trip. So that fed into my anxiety. Pete, on the other hand, complete opposite. So my anxiety is starting to build. No English is being spoken whatsoever. Maybe in Munich, you get Berlin, you get a bit of English. Hamburg, they don't do English. So I don't have any German. You probably picked up on that already. So I get this train conductor, I suppose. We try and communicate as best as we possibly can. I found out I was going the wrong direction on the train. My worst fears were confirmed. So panic starts to set in. We need to get off this train. We need to turn this back around. We have a plane to catch. Plane schedules are unforgiving. We have to make that plane. So we get off. We're trying to navigate this language barrier, right? We're trying to figure out how we get back on the right track, if you will, to get back to the airport, going the right way, right? So I'm at this machine lovely young woman comes up to me. She was so sweet. And she asked me for change and directions. It was probably the worst possible time to ask me for any help. Normally, I would have given her the shirt off my back. However, I told her in so many ways that I wasn't able to help her at that particular moment. So the poor girl went about her business, as did I. We got back on the train. I'm panicking still. We get lost again. We get off the train. I'm like, all right, I need to get bearings. Let's try and find someone to speak English or make sense of this. Go into a pharmacy in Hamburg in the suburbs, no English. Pharmacist is looking at me as if I have lobsters crawling out of my ears. And I don't know what to do. So I'm like, all I can do is taxi airport. That's it. Everyone understands taxi and airport. That's all I can do. So approach a taxi driver, told the taxi driver what was going on. And I explained to this taxi driver, we have a plane to catch. I kind of need you to drive as fast as you possibly can while keeping us safe. So he starts to go about his business. The airport, I do know, is maybe 20 to 30 minutes away. Knowing my departure time, obviously, taxi driver is nonchalant, very relaxed, doesn't match my sense of urgency at all. So he is just taking it easy, and I'm getting more and more anxious, trying to remain calm, saying, hey, Mr. Taxi Driver, please get to this airport. I eventually get to the point where I told him to stop and let us out. And we got into another taxi, a lot more efficient. We finally get to the airport. We've probably, I don't remember the exact times. Let's just say the flight is at noon. And now it's probably 11:40 or 11:50, right? So those of you who've traveled, this is not good. This is not good whatsoever. So we get there. I've traveled from the United States to Ireland across that beautiful pond several times. So I'm very experienced with airports. It was the first time in my life that the guy wanted to give me the third degree, asked me everything, take off almost all my clothes, he gave me the whole thing. And basically I was like, dude, I have a plane to catch. So he's going through, and Pete's the calmest person in the world, of course. He's never traveled. He thinks we can get another plane, like a bus, we didn't get this bus, we'll catch the next one. Pete, it doesn't work that way. So this guy's at the security, blah, 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 getting change and everything. He's like, dude, you got to let me get this plane. We're going to miss the plane. So, of course, in Hamburg Airport, there's terminals. And there's all these gates lined up. 1, 2, 3, 4. They're all there. And my plane was at the furthest gate. So we run as fast as we can with our bags and all. I'm wearing flip-flops, sandals. To ditch those and keep on going. We get all the way there. They told us we're not getting on the plane. And in so many words and actions, I asked for their manager and I said, we have to get on this plane. So we managed to get on the plane. You can imagine the stares we got when we walked on. We got the dirtiest looks I've ever experienced. We sat down, and it taught me one thing. Here's the final thought I'm going to leave you with today. It doesn't matter if you're wearing flip-flops, if you can't speak German, if they can't speak English, if you're sweaty, if your palms are sweaty, if your heart's racing. If you got a goal in mind, if you have something where there's a will, there's a way, you can do it. If I did that, any of you can get back to Ireland safely on a plane. Thank you so much. Back to you, man, Toastmaster.
Thanks so much, John.
Thank you.
We are going to only have one prepared speech today. At this time, I am going to be passing the mic over to Dr. Alisan so we can go into our table topics at this time. Dr. Alisan.
Hold on. Hello, everybody can see me, hear me? Good. Okay, I don't have any idea what happened, but I signed up for a speech and it told me the slot was taken already. It's not there. But when I came on just now, on I was speech. So is it okay if I give my speech? Yes? No?
Sure,
Maybe?
why not?
Yes.
Y'all think about it? Okay. Okay, thank you. My speech is from the Motivational Strategy Path, Level 1, Evaluation and Feedback, speech number 2. It's 5 to 7 minutes for the timer. And the title of my speech is Discovering Alice Ann. The last time I spoke with you, I was having an identity crisis. I didn't know who I was outside of being identified with my husband. It's been 5 months now, and God knows I miss him. But I am on a path, personal growth, for me to discover who I am. Now, I'm going to share some things that may be shocking. My husband's been sick for 17 years. And I was one of those girls, preacher's wife, who made sure she went and got her hair done at the beauty shop. I haven't done that in 17 years. But I went Saturday, go get my hair done. And it was an amazing experience. Not because I've been there 17 years, but because I took the time to do something for Alice. I have been a caregiver for so long that my focus and motivation was to care for other people. I recently discovered you cannot pour from an empty cup. I needed to get my cup filled. What do I want to fill it with? That was a major question to me. Because since my husband passed, people say, what do you want to do? I have no clue. What do you like to do? I have no clue. I did not realize until real recently that my whole world evolved around Reverend Crump. I did everything for him. My agenda was him. I got up in the morning for him. And now I have to get up for me. And I'm discovering that my no means no. And I'm now asking the question, what part of no don't you understand? The N or the O? Because let me explain. When I say no, I mean no. I'm giving everything. Give me the opportunity to fill my cup. It's empty. I poured out everything I had for my husband. So I have children. Mom, can you do? Mom, can I have? No. But Mom, no. Simple as that. And I discovered my no don't have to have an explanation. It's a single word. No, with a period at the end. I can breathe. I am really, really glad that I'm on this path of discovering Alice Ann. I had not realized I like musical. I'm going to go and see a musical. Don't know which one yet, but I'm going to see a musical. Saw Hamilton on television. My goodness, it was amazing. But because I thought it was amazing on television, how spectacular would it be to be there live and in person? I'm going to treat myself to that. I'm also discovering I can do this. I really thought I couldn't do this alone. I went through those 5 months thinking my life is over. Darkness is just going to overtake me. And people were so encouraging. You can do this. Keep going. When I didn't want to keep going. I didn't think I could. I didn't think I could stand on my own and take care of me. Because I left my mother's house at 18. Of course, she took care of me. And then I married my husband, and he took care of me for 40 years. Who's going to take care of me now? That was my biggest thought and my biggest fear. I don't know how to do anything. I got a job and I paid my first month rent on my own. Yeah. And that felt absolutely amazing. I am so excited. I was so excited when I opened my bank account and the money was there. I said, oh, let me pay my tithe. Let me make sure I get it out the way. God, you got yours. Then I wrote my check for my rent. Yeah, this is great. I can do this. Oh, I can stand on my own 2 feet. I'm discovering, and I'm so excited. It is an absolute new journey for me to be on the discovery, to find me and all of the things I'm capable of doing. Back to you. So, yeah.
Thank you so much. We're going to jump to the table topics at this point. Is there someone that we would like to kick us off as a volunteer?
Yeah, I'm gonna do it.
Oh, you're
I'm
still
gonna
going to do
do it.
that? Oh, you're still
Yeah.
going to vote. Got it. Okay. Doing double duty today. Good. Hand it back to you
Thank
then, Dr. Allison.
Thank you. First person on my screen is Valencia. And since our theme is about growth, I'm going to ask you, what are your 3 most cherished personal values?
Thank you, Madam Table Topics Master.
You're welcome.
My 3 most treasured, cherished personal values, I'd say first is my faith. My faith is my moral compass. I believe that it is something that I lean on daily for strength and joy and what I call, well, it's in the Bible as the fruits of the Spirit. I don't just call it that, but those things are part of why I go to my faith daily. The second one I'd say is honesty. And in honesty, especially with working currently in local government, sometimes this is tough because you're challenged in it, but being true to that is something that kind of makes me stand out and not be everybody's friend sometimes. But hey, this is what I'm called to do. It's what I believe. So honesty would be my second one. And third is loyalty. Now, I hate to put it out there about my whole street cred thing, but y'all didn't believe that. But loyalty is very important to me, but mainly really when it comes to family and community, being there for the people who are there for you. And even when they're not there for you, sometimes you have to stand in the gap for people. So I really hold true to loyalty. I think that's something that's very important. And I'm a rider. Shh, don't tell nobody. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you for sharing those with us. Someone in the room, would you like to participate?
Got it, Andy.
I'll do it.
All right.
I'm standing really far back, Carla. Can you see me over here?
I can see you, sir.
Beautiful.
Okay, your question is, what is your purpose in life?
Wow. Thank you, Dr. Allison, for the light question today. I would love to say that my newly found purpose in life, aside from sharing my faith maybe as appropriate, is helping people with their finances. I have long been a financial nerd, as I love to say. When I was 21 and joined the Coast Guard, and the small bonus that I received slipped through my fingers, I joke that like a normal person, I ran to the bookstore to buy a book on personal finance. Ultimately, that sent me down a rabbit hole. And ever since, I've been learning everything I possibly could about money to share that knowledge with other people, specifically around automating all of your personal finances. So now I'm at a place, as of about 6 to 8 months ago, to start my own business to do just that. So I'm thankful to say that I feel like I'm at a place where I can find fulfillment in work that is in alignment with my values, so that hopefully myself and my community can thrive.
Thank you. Thank you so much. Jamil, you are next on my screen. What is your personality type?
Thank you, Madam Table Topics Master. As you notice, my laughter as soon as I heard the question. My personality type, depending on the day, the circumstances, what I ate or what I didn't eat, it could change. It could change a few different times. But overall, my personality type, the best way it was described when I took an assessment, there are 4 elements, and they're made up of the earth, of the world or the earth. So the 4 elements, I'll give them to you briefly. One is fire, one is wind, one is water, and one is fourth, which I can't remember. It'll come to me. But when I took the assessment, I was 51% water and 49% wind. What does that mean? Did I say earth? I see earth. I didn't say earth? Okay, earth. That's what it was, yeah, earth. All right, so in summary, why is this so hard for me? In summary, I go with the flow. Just like water, just like wind, I can kind of take it as it comes, and I can be very adaptable, very accepting, and I like to have fun, like to have a good time, like to laugh and joke around and play. And it takes a lot, unless you're one of my kids, it takes a lot to get me upset. And they have a gift to be able to do that relatively easily for some reason. But in a nutshell, my personality type is adjustable, adaptable, and flexible. Back to you, Madam Table Topics Master.
Thank you. I thought he was an airbender for a minute. Water bender for a minute. The earth bender, you talked about all of them. I thought you was one of those. Thank you so much for sharing. Someone else in the room? Anyone else in the room?
I'll go.
All right. So your question is, did you make time for yourself last week? Well, actually, it says this week, but since this week just started, so I'm going to ask you, did you make time for yourself last week?
Thank you so much for that question. I've mentioned numerous times in here, I have not been working for the past few months, and what that has allowed me to do is to take more time for myself. That looks like many different aspects. I, first of all, am getting a lot of walking in. That is something that I really have been focused on. I love being outside. I've always been going to my gym classes. That hasn't been new, but that's kind of always been this, like, get to that, and then that's kind of, I'm done for the day in the past because I haven't had as much time. Now I'm just focused on being outside and moving. And I really have felt like that has just opened my mind up. It allows a nice break in the day. And it just kind of clears my head as I'm going through this transitional time in my life. Another way I've been doing it lately is actually really with sleep. This is going to be my biggest lesson I have learned during this whole time of not working, how important sleep is. I was always one of those people like, go, go, go. Sleep is getting in the way of everything. And I have learned just how much, not only better I feel, how much more productive I can be, how I think so much stronger. And I knew this. However, it's very different when you have done it consistently for months and you just feel how different you are. That's something I'm going to focus on when I go back to my work. I think third, the one thing that I have spent time on myself this past week is spending time with my partner. This has also been another fortunate thing of being time off, of just continuing to cultivate our relationship and get to spend more time with each other, since I'm not sitting at a desk and traveling so much that I have been in the past. How I take time for myself, I really think focuses on different areas, and that's how I have focused on myself in the past week. Thank you.
Thank you. How important it is that we take time for ourselves. I know, because for 17 years, I did. So I am excited. That's one of the reasons why I wanted to know. Taking time for you. Do I have time, Madam Toastmaster, for any more?
I think we have time for one more.
One more. Sonia, you are on my screen.
Sonia's here.
All right. Your question is, what scares me the most right now?
Very insightful question. What scares me the most right now? I'm old. And when you get old, and I'm okay to say old, or I should say seasoned, you start to see things differently. You start thinking about not only my future, but the future of this planet. And I'm not impressed. I am not pleased. I believe we missed the assignment. We are living in an environment where people do not love and respect one another. I don't have to like you, but I can respect you. We've lost a lot of respect. And because we lost respect for each other, it's okay for us to speak to each other any kind of way. It's okay to take someone's life or be flippant about someone's life. When you get on the computer and you tell somebody to kill themselves, what are you thinking? Did someone not love you? Did someone not validate you that you feel like you can violate someone else? We are in trouble. Not only are we in trouble economically, which is even more crazy when I think about how we're going to thrive. But we can't thrive in terms of our soul because we just don't love and respect one another. Now, you don't have to love me. I want you to, but that's not a mandate. But respect should be a mandate. And what scares me today is we will never thrive because we lack respect for one another and one another's experiences. Everyone and I start off on the same playing field. It's unfortunate, but it's true. But we can still value what you bring to the table. Your life is important. Your story is important. Until we start respecting that, we're in deep, deep trouble. Thank you for the question.
Thank you. What an insightful answer.
Thank you so
That
much
is
for those questions today, Allison. I'm going to
You're
bring up
welcome.
now. I'm going to bring up now Deborah for the general evaluator to evaluate our meeting for today. Thank you.
We have had a fabulous meeting so far, and we're going to jump into our evaluations of our speeches. John had to leave our meeting, but we're still going to go ahead and evaluate him because since it's recorded, he'll be able to listen to it. And I know he'd want to hear the feedback that he's getting. And John was evaluated by Sonia. So Sonia, could you please take us into that evaluation?
Fantastic. Thank you, General Evaluator. One of the things we love about John is he is an excellent functionary. He loves being a fantastic timer, but when he steps out of his purpose in terms of functionary roles and starts speaking and being the leader that he is, he shines. So today I'm going to celebrate some of his strengths, some opportunities for him to have to challenge himself, but also a call to action. One of the things I loved about John is the fact that he was very descriptive with his words. He talked about his sweaty palms. Descriptions are magical when it comes to a story. And we weren't there with him in Germany, but he described how he felt when he was there, when he was under pressure. He described the scenery, the characters, the sounds. That's fantastic. He's painting a story with us. I also loved how he left us with a call to action. And all of that chaos and uncertainty, he says, when there's a will, there's a way. Toastmasters, when you're given opportunity to be on the stage, use it for something. Take your seat at the table and step into your purpose. I love the fact that he gave us a call to action. And there's some things I could challenge him on in order to amplify his words further. Understand, family, that we're in a virtual space and we've got to use it wisely. I love the fact that his background was muted, not crazy cluttered, nice pictures, but he was minuscule, I think that's the word, in that space. We want him to thrive as a virtual speaker, maybe position his camera so we can actually see the full him up front and personal. Because we couldn't see all of him, we missed some of his hand gestures. And in this particular presentation, he was supposed to show us effective use of body language. We didn't really see that. We saw some of it, but it was muted and some of it cut off because of his camera position. Also, vocal variety. When he was anxious, we knew about it because he described it to us, but we also want to hear about it in his voice. So make sure when you're talking about things that are so descriptive, if you could use a little angle, I was nervous, I was anxious, that would really help us validate that. As for a call to action for him, like I said, details are magical, but when they are structured, they are powerful. Please make sure when you're giving a speech, it's great to have a lot of details, but don't saturate it with unnecessary details. And also make sure your presentation is structured. Every speech has a beginning and a middle and an end. But John, if you're gonna watch on the recording, we love you. It was fantastic. We want to hear more from you. And back to our general evaluator.
Awesome feedback from Sonia that was directed at John, but really is good for each and every one of us. That space that we're using in that Zoom setting, it's challenging. And I think we're all learning on how to make that work for us, just like we are learning with the owl. All right. Ronke had to step off and Alice Ann stepped up. So Alice Ann, we had your speech and I'm thinking maybe Jamil evaluated it. Is that correct?
Yes,
Thanks,
I
Jamil.
did. Thank you, Debbie. Alice Ann, another great speech. One of the things I want to point out is your opening. I'm always keen on how a speaker begins their speech. And one of the things in Toastmasters, we get several different ways to begin a speech. You can start with a quote, you can start with a story, you can start with a question. And so I was looking for one of those, and the way you started it was quite intriguing. And it's a tip that I've heard recently about speaking. So y'all pay attention to this. You started with, the last time I was with you, I was having an identity crisis. See, that's not really a question, but it's a unique attention grabber. It's almost like you're starting halfway, a continuation of your previous speech, but it was just a great attention grabber. So great job with that. You also went into a great format for storytelling. You talked about how much you had been a caregiver over several years, and you had lost your identity in the process of doing that. And also you went into talking about how you had started to learn how to do things for yourself. Now, this is a very important tip. It's almost like a tutorial on how to start doing self-care and how to start setting boundaries. You went into no, I'm learning how to teach people no, and what are you confused about, the N or the O? Like, you really started to come out and show, the journey. So great job in storytelling. It was very easy to follow. And even the one visual aid, you talked about getting your hair done for the first time, and like that's a subtle but small visual aid that people can kind of see. And great job with that. And you had several great lines. You cannot pour from an empty cup. And also, my no does not have to have an explanation. So great job in just, the whole flow of the story and your speech. And even the conclusion, it's been amazing discovery and finding me. So it was a stretch trying to find an area to improve on this one. If I was to look to add one, maybe for people who had not heard any of your previous speeches and didn't know what your former hairdos looked like, maybe a before and after picture, I don't know. And maybe a different way to just show off the comparison. But anyway, great job with that. And I look forward to hearing your speech. And I'm so proud of you, young lady. You are really starting to glow. You have inspired us with your persistence over the past couple of years through part of this journey. For those of this that have been on the call and watched you go through it, but I'm happy to see that where you are now, you're growing. You're not there yet, but you're definitely growing. Back to you, Madam General Evaluator.
Thank you, Jamil. And that was awesome. A before hairdo and an after hairdo photo. That was great. And I also love how she did start the speech, like you said, to a continuation. And I thought very, very interesting and attention getting. So thanks, Jamil. We're going to go now to our grammarian, and Andy has signed up for our grammarian. He helped us out because I had signed up for 2, but so he took on one of those roles, and thank you.
Thank you, Madam General Evaluator. Thank you, friends. I'm just gonna, butcher my own ums as the grammarian first time. That's great. I'm gonna just hit these hard and fast. Going down the list. Allison, I've got 1 like. Jamil, I've got 1 so and a . Carla, congrats on the thrive. I did catch 2 so's. John is not here, but I'm going to roast him anyway. He did crush it with the thrive, so I love that. I think I counted about 5 so's, a like and an I caught myself with a so, but I did drop the thrive. And Sonia, you crush it with a triple thrive. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you, Andy. And that's pretty remarkable when you can catch your own so's and ums. That's great. And now we'll go to Valencia. Valencia was our timer today. And Valencia, could you take us through the timing?
Will do. I know it won't be counted, but I wanted to thrive in my role as timer today. So I use the app. Oh, you can't see it because of my background. Look at that. Oh, there you go. The Toastmasters app to time all of our roles today. John O'Connor had a speech today that was 8 minutes and 6 seconds. Dr. Allison Crump, 6 minutes, 19 seconds for your speech. My table topics went for 2 minutes, 2 seconds. Andy, 1 minute, 10 seconds. Jamil, 2 minutes, 8 seconds. Allison, 1 minute, 59 seconds. And Sonia, 1 minute, 35 seconds. We all qualified for our evaluations. Sonia, 2 minutes, 25 seconds. And Jamil, 3 minutes, 19 seconds. Everyone did really good on time. I think John O'Connor went a little over on his speech, but hopefully you all were able to see the backgrounds changing as times changed. And this thing really kept me on track. So I highly recommend it.
Nice job. Thank you so much. Thanks for sharing that app. And that might be something that all of us could look at and see how it might help us, because your timing feedback was really strong and visible and great. So thank you. All right. So now at this time at the meeting, I just make a few comments about things that have gone well for our meeting and maybe ways that we could I looked at you. Don't quit counting. All right. But anyway, we did a great job of signing up for roles this week. It was, I think, one of our best. And I want to thank Allison for being our Toastmaster. She knocked it out of the park like she knew I would. It was great to see familiar faces today, but also new faces. And Jeremy, it's great to have you back. And Ronke's been back. And Kathy, thank you for visiting. Dave, thank you for visiting from our sister club. You meet Jasmeet, it's just good to see everybody coming back each week. Our theme was awesome. I asked Allison, what kind of growth? I'm like, what detail? I need details, but I loved how she said any kind of growth. And I thought, awesome. It can be, things can be open-ended and allow people to take it in whatever direction they want. So that was great. Carla, she gave us 3 great examples of growth stunters. And I think all of us could certainly relate to every one of those that you said. I think her final message was to be comfortable with being uncomfortable. And that's, we know that's what growth is all about. And we practice that every week when we are here at Toastmasters. I think we had awesome speeches. We had great table topics. I think our speakers are very organized and thoughtful and can just respond in a flash to whatever the need is at the time. So I think that's wonderful. Sonia, you are not old. I wanted to say that because I got you beat. So all right. I think also too, we're really fine tuning our hybrid model. And I think that we have, we've really got it down pretty good. It doesn't mean we don't learn things every week, but we do a great job. And I think our club is thriving with members and visitors and trying new roles. And the only thing that I think our club could do better is for every one of us to renew your membership. How's that? You should have gotten an email, and you can try our new self-pay plan. And Carla and I were looking at it before the meeting started, and it looks super easy, but it'll allow you to renew your membership. It'll be $45, which will take you through the next 6 months. And I think all of us would agree it's the best $45 you'll probably ever spend. So please, we are trying to get everybody renewed, I believe by March 17th, because then we get a $25 incentive from the Toastmasters store. So anyway, thanks so much for this opportunity, and I'm going to turn it back to our Toastmaster.
Thanks so much, Deborah. What was really nice today, and I don't think planned, was that the prepared speeches I also felt like went with our theme. I think John could probably say that and that's what back to why growth can be so many things. I'm sure he had growth in his travel experience, and Dr. Alice definitely had growth with her personal story. I love it when everything comes together. Before I pass it over to Jamil to see if there is any announcements, I just wanted to offer this opportunity for our guests today if there was anything that get your feelings on the meeting. Kathy, what were your thoughts?
I just really enjoyed hearing from everybody. I felt I learned a lot, and I had no idea how the flow of a meeting went. So it's been really interesting.
Great, thanks, Kathy. Hope you can come back. And Dave, I know you're a member at our sister club, right? But just is this just your feedback on being at a different meeting today? Is Dave on mute? Oh, and maybe he's gone.
He had to drop.
Okay.
Subtle hint.
Yes, with that, Jamil, is there any announcements for today?
No, I am getting kicked out of my room. That's the one announcement I have really for myself. But listen, great job today. My library room, not like a house or an apartment or anything like that. Great job today with the meeting. I'm so proud of everybody jumping in and contributing, and you guys make a point to thrive this week. All right, that's all for me.
Thanks,
Y'all
everyone.
have a great rest of the week.
Bye.
Bye, everybody. Thrive.
Bye. I just close this or?
Bye, everyone.